Now that I, SKYFIRE, have been unfrozen, I can watch this latest video from Optibotimus.
What's up, you beautiful collectors? This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the folks at FansToys, we're going to be taking a look at their FT-10 Phoenix, which, as you can see, is their version of a masterpiece style SKYFIRE. I say SKYFIRE because this is based on the G1 cartoon, and it absolutely looks terrific. And as you can see, it is massive, which SKYFIRE should be. Now, I know a lot of people are going to ask questions, so I did bring out my tape measure. So from the nose to the back, we're looking at roughly, real quick, we're looking at a little over 17 inches long. Wingspan-wise, which is quite impressive as well, you're looking at also about 17 inches. So, very, very large. Hopefully, you guys can see this fairly well because, yes, I know, I have a white background and the figure is white. I have adjusted the exposure and ISO to make it a little bit easier to see. Hopefully, that is the case for you. But just overall great aesthetic. I mean, it was never really all that spectacularly smooth, even in the cartoon. So it doesn't bother me that much that, some of it is a little bit clunky kind of along the side. But all in all, I think it looks really very nice. This piece, if I can get my fingernail in there, which I'm not going to be able to. Which at the risk of making a whole bunch of people nervous, I'm going to bring out a little wedging tool and just pop this open, and you can see, again, you got some really nice window detail. But on the inside here, you have a very nice chrome kind of seated section, which looks really very cool. This part here can't open up, but I do really like the blue that they use for that. Throughout the entire figure, you can also see that he's got these little silver bits that are added on, just giving him a little extra detail. You got some nice coloring for the vents. On the actual wings, you have his red stripe. On the tips are little yellow blinky warning lights. Really nice red color here. People have talked about this piece right here, which it's a chrome red. It is a little bit eye-catching, to be totally honest, because that's very dark in terms of the coloring. I'm just going to lift the wing out of the way. That's very dark, as you can obviously see. It does look pretty good, though, I think, but it does kind of stand out from the much more bright red that the rest of the figure has. So that's a curious kind of decision to go with that. It does give it a little bit more of a premium look, and I like it, but I do think that the brighter red would have looked a little bit better. Bringing the wing back down, you got some nice thrusters back here, all molded in black. You got some nice detail right up in these little thruster areas as well. Overall, I mean, I do like it. Very heavy feeling as well. I don't know the exact weight, but very, very heavy on it. There's a lot of die cast in this guy. These little landing struts down here are made out of die cast, and it's nice that they actually put landing gear on it just in general. But just overall, really very nice looking. I mean, I do think that the robot mode is the best look for him, but I think they did a great job with this. Now, for some size comparisons, because of how big he is, it's going to be a little bit tricky. But here's MP-10 Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. And as you can see, yeah, there's a bit of a size difference between these fellers. But that's the way that it should be. I mean, SKYFIRE was a massive character in the original cartoon. And I love the fact that they carried that over with the scale. And yes, because Starscream in the original cartoon was friends with SKYFIRE, here you have that comparison. And I mean, it's just massive. Absolutely silly how big this is compared to Starscream. I mean, really quite large. Even when you're looking at like the wingspan. I mean, it's dwarfed, or Starscream is just dwarfed by the wingspan of SKYFIRE. It's just absolutely loving it. The sheer size is something that absolutely blown me away. For his accessories, he does come with a couple of them. If this does tab in anywhere here in the jet mode, I'm not familiar with it. Unfortunately, these figures usually do not come with instructions. So in addition to figuring out the transformation ourselves, we also have to determine if they can store the weapons anywhere. And I don't necessarily think there's anywhere that you can store it. I thought maybe here. I mean, you got a little kind of a tab there on the side that I thought maybe you can do that, but I don't really think that there's a very secure place for it. So you do get this massive gun, which I love. It's big, it's bulky, it absolutely looks how it needs to. Nice detail on the side. You can see that it is a double barrel, which is perfect. He also does come with this little adapter thing. Well, at least I think it's an adapter that allows you to, and again, I haven't quite figured out how to do this. I think you just get that in there. Well, no, I mean, it kind of sits like that, so you can display him actually flying. I think this is an adapter though for the Dinobot swoop figure. I forgot what the actual name is, but I think that this attaches to his display stand for the dinosaur mode. I think you can put this on there to use with this. I'm not 100% certain, but that is my guess. You also do get an extra blue clear bit of eyes that gives it a little bit more of like kind of a light piping sort of thing, similarly to what you have here with the windows. You can just swap that out, and then you also have this extra piece right here. Now this one, I'm not 100% certain what this is really actually for. Now you can see that you have a piece right here that goes right there. My guess is either A, if you want to put an Autobot logo there, and then maybe a Decepticon logo on this one, you can swap it out fairly easily. Or if I remember right, in vehicle mode, SKYFIRE's Autobot logo was down here. So if you wanted to, you can take this, and it's a little bit tricky to do. So again, bringing out the little razor thing, then I know it's going to freak people out. You can just pop that out if you wanted to have a Autobot logo in robot mode, because that's what that is actually for. If you wanted to have that, and then you wanted to put this here to have a clear one in the actual jet mode, that's a possible option for you. I mean, I guess it's personal preference. You can, why is this not fitting in there very well? Or maybe it don't fit at all. Let's see. Oh no, there it goes. So maybe have one with an Autobot logo, maybe have one clear, so that if you have it in here, you can pop this off, put the clear one on there so that it looks more like the animation, and then have an Autobot logo down in this section. And then if you have them in his robot mode, you have this, and then you can just pop this out, which I'm not going to be able to. Let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, I almost got it with... I got like a bit of a fingernail. So, oh, whoa. You can put that in there. And in his robot mode, you can do that. So I guess it's personal preference. But jet mode-wise, really quite impressive. Very massive. Good detail throughout the entire thing. You come around to the bottom, you can see that it does get a little bit ugly. You got a big giant piece of die cast right there. You got some, moving this down, you got some red clear bits here. And then tucking these away, they just fold up. And that closes. We're going to have to do that to transform them anyhow, so I might as well do it now. Fold that in, fold that in. You also get some extra silver painted detail kind of on the inside here. Just, I mean, really happy with how this turned out. Plastic quality is very nice. As I talked about, very heavy. So overall, real good build quality on this guy. Now for the transformation, first what I like doing is coming around to the wings, getting these done. Take these little sections right here. These tuck up and under, just like so. Do that on both sides, just folding them underneath the main section of the wing. Then come around to the top, lift this. It pegs in fairly securely. Just hinge that up just like so. Then come around here to the back, lift these little pieces up on both sides, just like that. And then these accordion inward, effectively shortening the overall length of them, especially when you bring them down. That actually is really cool, because in the animation, again, these thrusters were really large. But when he was in his robot mode, they weren't that big. So that's kind of cool. Leaving this piece detached, then take this entire section here, lift this up, detach this from the main section of the body, just like that. And then this whole backpack section then collapses in just like so. You can go ahead and take these, hinge these all the way up just like that. Basically his backpack is done, yeah, and it is permanently attached to it. Oh, well, you got to take this and then hinge this back up, lock this into place along the back section like so. You can fold these down, flop them around, whatever you want to do. Come around here to the legs, take these little pieces, you want to detach them right here and then extend them all the way down. They tab in on this side and on the inside to two different points in the upper part of the leg. So you just kind of wiggle that a little bit and then just pull that all the way down just like so. Come down here to the lower section. You can then take these and again, using my fingernail sort of to detach this along the side, and that's not going to happen, so we're just going to bring out a little wedging tool, pull this out, give that a nice little pull, lift this up just like that. And then the feet, you got a little bottom section here, fold this out towards the back, and then this whole thing just kind of brings all the way out like so. And then fold this out, and you can just straighten out the legs. Bring this down, and then tab those. I'm not actually going to tab them all the way down. I like leaving it, and I'll explain it. I love the detail on the feet, though. You got those little thrusters that are very similar to like the thrusters that are on his backpack. I think that's great. Come around here to this side as well. Can I detach? Oh, look at that. That fingernail worked. Flop this around. There we go. Bring this up. Bring this whole section out. Kind of bring that down. Fold this down. Fold this out. You got his little heel, and then you got the front of his foot, and then just kind of bring this down and slightly bring that down. And I'll explain why I do that here in a bit. Bring this around, and basically you have his legs done, but you do have to adjust his hips. So first, remove this and swivel this down, and then this tabs in. It's kind of hard to see, but you got a little tab section right underneath here that locks on the inside of his leg. So just bring that down and then swivel that down just like so. Bringing those together, then you can take this little section right up here. Let me angle up a little bit so you can see, because as you can tell, he's getting pretty tall. So you got these little sections right here. You got a little slot on the inside there that little tab is going to lock into. So just hinge this up, give that a little push right there. Now, I do have concerns with this over time. It's a smaller tab and the plastic is very sturdy, but what you basically do, because it doesn't go down very far, you kind of have to push on an angle, which then I feel puts pressure on this, kind of pushing downward, which I don't know. Over time, it just feels like that might put a stress mark on there. It hasn't happened yet, but it is something to be cautious about over time. Then you can bring this up just like that. Take these little bits right here along the side. These are a little bit stiff. Fold that out, spin it around, pull this out on that side as well. Come to the under section here, and you got this whole bit right here, which you have to remove. So pull this piece. Oh, well, let's see. Leave this up. I'm sorry. Then pull this out and then detach this entire section. Everything tabs in very, very securely as well. That's one thing that's very nice. And just push this piece right back up there. This little piece here then folds in, and then around another piece of heavy duty die cast, you got another piece right there. So again, just adds to the overall weight of the figure. Bring this down, rotate this. Now, I did actually go back and look at the animation, and no, the Autobot logo wasn't there. It was up there in most times. So again, I'm thinking that maybe you can swap that out just to put a Decepticon logo, which is kind of cool. So then rotate that. I had that out. Bring that. Then this whole section hinges up and locks into place. Just tuck that down just like so. Come around here to the top section. Gonna have to angle up again for you. Lift this piece up and just kind of detach it. It tabbed in right here, so just loosen that. Lift this piece up, and then you can tuck this, just kind of get that right there. Come around here to this section, bring these out, and then this whole section here on both sides is on a little sliding joint that just slides out, very stiff but very secure as well. And you got more die cast kind of put in there. Rotate this around and then this around. And then this whole section here can swivel around just like so. So again, when you rotate that around, you can then swivel this piece around just like that. And then take this section, oh well, this is going to collapse. Bring this in, that'll lock into place there. Do that on this side there as well. Take this little piece here. Remember to do this because you'll have problems lining that up. So fold this up and, well, just, yeah, like along the back right there. Come around here. You can then swivel this around, just kind of put that down there, get this kind of out of the way. Reach back here, and here's his head. Just hinge this piece out like that. Then make sure while you have this detached that you pull this little white section here out. Again, bring out the little tool, bring that out just like that. Then take these little back sections, these little flaps, rotate forward, and then bring them down. That locks into place there. Do that on the opposite side as well. Rotate that around. That'll tab down just like so. Kind of bring the head, rotate that around right there, bring the whole chest piece in, make sure you clip that all the way down. And this part's a little bit tricky, and again, I don't have instructions, so hopefully I'm doing this right. You kind of want to leave this back and bring this up, and you got a little tab section underneath here that's going to slot in there. But the only way I can figure out to do it is kind of go like this, and then just kind of push right there, and then push the whole thing forward. It's kind of tricky, but it works. Like I said, I don't have instructions, so hopefully I'm doing that right. Make sure that you push that all the way down. Then you can actually take these wings. They separate right here, and then you can rotate those back just like that. Do that on this side as well. They lift and separate, and then you can rotate them around. Come around here to these arms. Extend this piece out. Then you can rotate the hand out like so. Fold that, and then bring these all the way out. Make sure you pull it all the way, because that's how you get the rotation. If you don't have it fully extended, it won't rotate at the upper part. Then rotate this, kind of hinge this down, and then you got a little knob thing that then sticks out, and then that actually locks into place, giving a nice added depth to him. Then doing that on this side, straighten out his head. Do that here, lift that out, rotate his fist around, close that, bring this piece down. Let's see, extend you all the way down, then rotate this piece around. There we go. Rotate that around. Make sure you extend it all the way down, which will kind of soft tab in there, locking that into place. And then you can swivel these kind of like up, position those how you want, get the hands positioned how you want, position the head. And there, in all of his absolute gorgeous glory, is Phoenix, fully transformed and in his robot mode. My God, did this thing turn out incredible. The one thing that I will say is that transforming this, there are some elements about it that do remind me of the DoctorsTARDIS Kronos, which, if you remember my review for that, aesthetically, I liked the way that that looked. So much that it stayed in my display for a very long time. When FansToys announced that they were making theirs, that Kronos one went away. So unfortunately, I can't do a comparison for that. But there are some elements of this that I do feel are kind of refined parts on that DoctorsTARDIS Kronos. The plastic, the sturdiness, the joints, everything on it really has a solid heft to it. And that's noticeable in the weight. Now, I did actually weigh him, and he weighs a hair over 3 pounds. And that's a lot. I mean, throughout the entire thing, whether it be specific areas such as, I think the feet here are die cast. I can't tell. Those kind of feel like they're metal. But there's a lot of support pieces throughout the entire thing that also have heavy duty die cast. And that really does give a lot of bulk to him. As you can see, you can get him holding his gun very, very nicely. The articulation in the fingers is out of this world. I absolutely love it. We'll go through that here in a bit, but doing the size comparisons, first and foremost, getting him to stand there. He is a little bit back heavy, but he does balance fairly well. Here you have him next to Masterpiece Optimus as well as Bumblebee. And it's a huge, huge difference. And bringing out the old tape measure just to give you kind of an idea. At the head, he's almost 14 inches tall. The backpack section makes it go a little bit higher at about 15 inches tall. So you get an idea of just how massive this guy is. And then again, because they're buddies, here you have him next to Starscream. And again, massive size difference. I mean, it's almost silly looking at it, but when you look at how SKYFIRE was in the cartoon, this is absolutely how big he should be. And I mean, even in bringing Ultra Magnus, which him and Starsaber, I believe, are the biggest Masterpiece figures that we've gotten. Again, you can see just how big he is, but also you kind of get an idea of just how oddly proportioned Ultra Magnus is. Coming in to take a closer look at the figure. As I mentioned, as you can see, he's got this very nice blue metallic paint job here for the eyes. If you wanted to give him light piping, you just take the head off and then you put this in there. And you can see that this is a clear piece. And then you come around to the back, and then this section right here actually is also a little bit translucent. So it really lets the light piping in. But I kind of like the silver for the eyes. Or the metallic look for the eyes, I should say. I think that looks pretty cool. But overall, really very nice. I like the head sculpt. Very similar to the G1 look. It's a little bit different, but I like the slight spin that they put. You can see some great panel detail on there as well. I mean, you got like these little edges kind of sculpted in there. Nice little accents here on the ears, which look great. Nice black outline. You got a little bit of a silver bit here right in the crest. And then throughout the entire body, you got those little silver bits. Like here, some people were thinking that these were actually screws. They are not. They're little silver painted details. They kind of look like screws, so I could imagine where people would think that. He does have some exposed screws throughout the rest of the figure, but that is not it. And these ones are on the inside, so they hide fairly well. You can see some more silver along the side. Good panel lines, good color here with the vents. Obviously, you have the front section. Here you can see more of those clear red pieces with what look like silver bits on the inside. Come around here, you got some nice red added on there. But this is where you kind of can see, like, you have this very nice metallic red color, but it doesn't match with anything else. I mean, maybe if they put this in that color tone, it would look a little bit more in place, but it kind of sticks out. But looking at the rest, you can see, again, real nice panel lines. You got some more silver and everything. Good detail throughout the entire piece. I love the internal detail here with the lower portion of the legs. Good panels and nice silver paint. You got some silver paint right here as well. Again, you got the nice thrusters here on the bottom of the feet. Come around here to the back. You can see great detail with the actual backpack. Now, if you wanted to, I believe you can swap these. So if we put these on the opposite sides, it's personal preference, really. You can fold these in and you can have it like that. But in putting them back out, they are on an angle, so you would have to leave them like that if you had them in a jet mode, because it doesn't go all the way out. It'll make it pop off. So that's a personal preference kind of thing. For me, I don't mind them kind of like this. I guess a little bit more of a clean look would be as if they folded all the way in, but again, you know, that's your personal preference, I guess. You do have the wings that just kind of fold here along the side, but I think that that's really very cool and compacts very, very nicely. You come around here again, you got some nice molded detail on the back of the legs, which look really good. Overall, great detail really on it. For the articulation, the head does pivot up and down. It rotates very nicely, so you can get it looking any which way you really want. The shoulders have fairly soft ratchet joints moving around. This little piece can flex in and out, so you can kind of position that. Actually, oh, that actually comes all the way around and kind of hides that joint. That's actually kind of good like that. I kind of dig that. So you can rotate that around. Obviously, when you do that, that's going to make it come all the way out. Make sure you do keep this all the way extended, and you'll have a bicep swivel. You have a nice joint here at the elbow. It does get a little bit weird looking. Here is like when you bring it down, you got a huge bulky section, then you bring that up, and that looks a little bit thin, but I don't think it's too terribly bad. The wrists here are on ball joints, so you get a nice range of motion there. The thumb section here is on a ball joint, and then you have two different flexing points. So you got the ball joint at the main section. Right above that, you have a hinge, and then that knuckle has a hinge as well. The fingers themselves, they actually do rotate out. I think, are these ball joints too? Or are they just hinged? I mean, they're hinged forward and back, and then it looks like they're hinged in and out as well. So you can actually spread them out, not necessarily ball joint sort of spreading, but you can, as you see, you can spread them out, which is pretty nice. I do kind of always get weirded out by the fingers always being the same length, because when you look at your fingers, they're not the same length. So it's like those should be a little bit smaller and staggered, but you have that main joint, you have another joint, so all of them really do flex very nicely. Lots of articulation in there. Now, if you come down here to the waist, as it is right now, it doesn't have any waist rotation. If you take this and you detach these from the side, it looks a little bit weird. Let me get this down. There we go. Because it kind of droops. But if you do that, you can actually rotate them a little bit. I don't know how many people are really going to do that. I mean, like I said, that makes these kind of droop a little bit, but you can actually do that. And it was explained to me that you can do that from the folks at FansToys, but I just think that leaving it up like that is perfectly fine. You got these little side skirts that can move out so that you can move the legs forward and back, in and out. They hold fairly well. You can see that, I mean, if you shake it, it does eventually slowly bring it down, but good range of motion there. It does rotate at the upper part of the thigh. He also rotates at the knee, and then has a fairly nice ratchet joint moving forward and back. Come down to the ankle. Now this is where I don't necessarily like tabbing these all the way in, although that one kind of went in there. So I'll bring that there. If you leave this where it's not attached, you can angle that forward and you can get that moving a little bit forward more than what you could if you left it down. So you can get a little bit of a lean on it. It does move back fairly well. You can see you got a little hinge section on the inside that you can get some side-to-side pivot. The toes move forward and back, and then this whole section actually does move as well. So lots of articulation, even with the heel here for the foot. So for me, like I said, I'm going to leave these down, but I'm not going to tab them in just so that if I ever wanted to pose it, I could. So lots of great posing options with the guy. One thing, like I was talking about, I think I mentioned it briefly, is he is definitely back heavy. So you can see he does lean. So you do have to make sure you get the feet properly positioned so that he stands very sturdily. It does require a little bit of balancing, but you can get it fairly easily. But overall, I mean, just gorgeous figure. Really very nice, very large. He will fit if you have a D-Tolf. As I said, Phoenix here stands at about 15 inches tall at the highest point, which is right here, and the top shelf of a D-Tolf is about 15 inches. So you may have to spread his legs and get him to squat a little, but he should be able to fit in there. Now to transform him back, go ahead and straighten these out. They can be a little bit tricky to do. Just kind of push down, bring that down just like that. Do that on both sides here. Kind of push from the bottom section so that you can rotate that all the way around. The thumbs here, you want to make sure that you tuck those in along the side and then bend all the knuckles in and then fold them all in just like that. Open up the bottom section, then you can rotate this around and they tuck underneath there very easily. Make sure that you keep that straight so that the slot lines in there perfectly. Do that on this side as well. Rotate the wrist around, fold that bit back up, slotting that in and connecting that just like so. Go ahead and take this section here. You can leave these down. We're going to have to rotate these around a little bit when we get it into the transformation area. So you can leave it just like so for right now. Come around here to the back of them. Then you just have to kind of push the head back. I mean, this is a weird kind of connection. It works. It's just weird. You want to push from the back here. That will allow you to swivel that back down, and then that just kind of separates. Go ahead and tuck that little piece down like so. Rotate his head. You get a little bit more clearance when you're bringing it to the back section. Go ahead and lift these little pieces up like that. Rotate those all the way around and tuck those along the back section. You can then take this whole front piece, lift this up and swivel this all the way around. Come down here, make sure you open this, and this is made out of die cast as well. So again, a lot of heft in this. Take this front section here and you want to slide these forward. They are, like I said, stiff, so just go fairly slow with it and you can bring it out very nicely. Rotate this all the way around just like that to the back, and then you can swivel that to the outside. Do that on this side as well. Rotate this whole section around on the inside like that. Swivel this out. You want to then rotate these arms so that the little, where's it at? Yeah, you want to make sure that the little knob section is facing outward, and then collapse that arm down. If you know how to do it before, you could do that, but it's just easier for me to remember when I get it in like that. And take these outer sections, collapse these in like that. Do that on this side as well. Then take these little pieces and these fold down along the back section. Come around here to the top. You got this whole bit right here. You want to make sure that I didn't do that in the proper assembly, but make sure that you bring this little piece out. It's a little bit tricky to do when you have it, but fold that around, bring this up, tuck that down just like so. Go and then take his head, bring it down to the middle section, put that right through here, and it sits along the middle section right in there. Come around here to the top again. You have this little piece. Make sure you kind of push that down. A lot of this part won't stay tabbed in until you get it all finalized, but this is just kind of giving you an idea. Rotate this piece out, detach this, come around here to the bottom, get that kind of out of the way. This is a little bit tricky if you don't have fingernails. These little pieces here have to swivel out, so it's die cast, so it's using this isn't going to damage it anything, right? So rotate this out, rotate this out, then you can bring this all the way down, and you got a bunch of little connector bits here that slot into the underside. So just fold that, give that a nice little push along the way. Fold that up there. like that. And then this section here, oh, make sure you rotate this all the way out like so. Bring that up, lock that into place. Now this piece right here, you got a little slot on the inside that now you can't see. Well, there, you got the little slot right there that kind of goes into. It's a little bit hard to do. It goes in, but it seems to pop out very easily. But you can just put it there, and then this you bring up, and that kind of holds it there anyhow. So it doesn't really seem like it needs to fully slot in there because this piece holds it in place perfectly fine. So that's just what I'm gonna go with. Come around here to the legs. You got a little on the, get this out of the way. Yeah, on the back section here, you got this little tab that you need to push in, and that releases it so that you can collapse the leg up. First though, I'm gonna loosen that up, then come back around here, lift this up. You can then hinge this down, and then bring this over, and then swivel that all the way in, bring this down, lock these down just like that. Do that on this side as well. Bring that in, bring that down, bring that down. Did I have that all the way down there? Let's see. There we go, just like so. Then straighten this out. You wanna detach this on the sides. So give this a good little tug, and then separate the waist section here like that. Actually, you could have left that out like that. Then hinge this up like so, and then again on the inside here is a little groove slot on the inside. You had that one out here for the robot mode. The inner one here is for the jet mode. So you got that little tab, so then bring this up, and that will lock into place right there. So do that again on this side, and give that a nice little push, locking that into place, and then you can bring this and tab that right in there securely. Again, then take the legs. If you didn't detach that button, go ahead and do that now. You got a little, it's hard to see, you got that little tab section right there that's going to lock on the inside of his leg, and then you got that little tab on the outside of this flap that's going to tab in there. So bring that all the way up, and you kind of have to look on the inside and then squeeze that in. That locks that in very nicely. So do that on this side as well. Bring that up, make sure you get kind of the inside. It's a little bit easier to go there first, and then the outside, push that in. Come around here to the top section, you can see just about done. You want to lift this piece up and off the back section, setting him here, then spread both of these side pieces out. It's a little bit tricky. Let's see if I can do it without messing anything up. Ugh, stiff. There you go. There, there, there. There we go, just like that. Lift this back up. You can then take, I guess if you wanted to, you can tab this right back down because you have it extended. These do pop off easily. Mind you, this is a test sample, so chances are this will be tighter on the final one, but just put that right back there. Then you can lift these. You can then hinge these pieces out like that. Bring this back down. Tab that there. Do that on this side as well. Hinge that out. You got that little tab that slots right in the top there, leaving that locked into place very securely. Come around here, you got a little tab bit on the bottom. You got a lock right here, and then on the opposite side, that also locked down on the jet. So just give that a nice little push. Rotate these wings back. If you want to, you can, let's see here, put that there. You don't have to bring them all the way back like that. People are talking about how they kind of look a little off like that, and they do, but if you leave them out like that, it looks a little bit more like his cartoon self. And fold these little pieces out. You can see they just kind of fill in here on the bottom section. So just kind of wedge that. Yeah, come on. Being a pain in my buttocks. There we go. Like that. On this side as well. You can leave them out like that, which in some scenes, he did have the wings more out like that as opposed to more swooping back. But there you have him back in his jet mode. And I gotta be honest, of all the FansToys figures that I have in my collection, and I pretty much have them all, I think, Phoenix here is probably my favorite. I think that FansToys absolutely nails the aesthetic of whatever figure that they do. There's just something about this that really does impress me. Both his jet and his robot mode, I think, look terrific. The only kind of questionable things that I have would be like the coloration here, as well as some of the tabs. But for what it is, I'm absolutely blown away. I've transformed this guy several times already, and those tabs hold very securely. So the more times that I do it, it's less of a concern, leaving me really only with the red color here as being something that I think is a little bit iffy, but is by no stretch a deal breaker. And the transformation, the most difficult part about it is the fact that he's so big. He's a little bit difficult to kind of manipulate because of how large he is. SKYFIRE is one of my favorites, and I think that Phoenix here absolutely nails his look. So once again, FansToys, great job. You leave me once again anxiously awaiting your next release. So all that being said, if Phoenix here is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, he is available right now for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this as well as the rest of their wide range of third-party figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video to please hit that thumbs up button. It goes a long way towards helping me out, and I'd really appreciate it. Also be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you're already subscribed, do me a quick favor and click on that little bell right below this video. And double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, be excellent to each other.